Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to tune the cello. There's two ways to tune the cello. The easiest way to do it and to get started if you're a beginner is using the fine tuners. They're located on the tailpiece, but you can only use them when the cello is out of tune just a little bit. The other way is with the pegs. The pegs are necessary if your cello is really out of tune, but they're a little bit more tricky to use. To help with your tuning, we recommend using an electronic tuner. In this video, I'm going to be demonstrating using a Mercedo branded tuner, but you can use any chromatic tuner, including ones that you can get for free as an app on your phone. One of the reasons I really like this tuner is because it comes with a clip, and the clip is really handy because you can attach it directly to the instrument, and then it eliminates all of the background noise that you might have in your room. Without that, you will pick up some background noise, and that's particularly the case if you choose to use one of the apps on your iPhone. I find that most apps on your phone, they'll get the job done, but they're not always as accurate or as responsive. Before you get started, it's really important that your tuner is set up correctly. There's really only two things that you need to make sure of. One is that the frequency that's shown is 440. And that's the frequency of A. The other thing is the key. You want to make sure that it's either showing the key of C or that there's no flats. Those settings exist so that you can calibrate this for a transposing instrument, but because we're using a cello and the cello is tuned in the key of C, there's no reason why you need to change those, but it can give you a false read while you're trying to tune. So it's really important that the tuner is set up correctly. Of course, you'll need to know what the names of the strings are. So from top to bottom, the skinniest, highest string is A, followed by D, then G, and the lowest string is C. So to get started, I normally sit with the cello in the usual position as if I'm about to start playing. I get the clip and I clip it onto the bridge. It's going to give us the cleanest signal. And then I put the tuner on the music stand in front of me so that I can clearly see the screen and I can see what's going on. If you don't have the clip, don't worry, just put the tuner or your phone on your music stand, but keep it fairly close to the cello just to get a nice clean signal, especially by the time we get to the C string, which is a very low note. Some tuners struggle to pick up that frequency, so a clip is the best thing or very close proximity to the cello. I normally start by tuning the A string, but you could start with whichever string you'd like. I normally use my left hand to pluck, which is a little bit unusual, but it allows me to use my right hand to tune using the fine tuners. So you can see in this instance, the needle is sitting slightly to the left, the little flat sign is on, and it's showing the note A. So we're happy because we know that it's the note A, that's what we're trying to tune, but it's a little flat. So all I need to do is turn the fine tuner clockwise, just a few turns, very slowly. And if I pluck it again, you can see that it's getting closer to the middle. And I basically keep turning it and then plucking it to check until the needle's in the middle and the green light is on. If you go too far, or you can see that the needle is pointing to the right of the middle, then you know that it's too sharp. And in that case, it's really easy, just the opposite of what you did. Turn it anti-clockwise until it comes back to the middle. If the note on the screen is anything other than what it's supposed to be, for example, if you're playing the D string, but the screen displays a B or a C, then it's quite flat and you'll need to use the pegs. Pegs are slightly trickier to use and they do require some practice. It's not mechanical in any way, it's a tapered piece of wood, and it's only held in place by the pressure that you use when you're tuning it. Some people tune with their left hand, like this, with the cello in the regular playing position, but I find that quite tricky, and I'd suggest that as a beginner you might also find that a little difficult. So I would suggest that you turn the cello around, lower the end pin, and then the pegs are roughly at eye height, or you could stand up to do it. To tune with the peg, you need to push in as you turn. If you don't, the result is that the peg doesn't stay where you leave it and it will pop out of place. To get started, firmly grip the peg and pluck the string once, checking the tuning. If you can see it's flat, you need to make it tighter. And to do that, very slowly move the peg, make it tighter, but push in at the same time and pluck again. It's really important that when you pluck it, that note is always staying at or below the note that you're aiming for. So for example, if you're aiming for an A and it says that it's an A sharp, you've gone too far and you're in the danger zone. It's very possible that you'll break a string at that point. So keep checking it as you go. So I pluck and then I push in and turn at the same time so that it stays firmly in place. You don't need to turn it as far as you will with the fine tuner. So you'll often find that it's not even 1/8 of a turn that you're turning it, just a tiny little bit. Getting closer now, but not close enough, so I turn it a little bit more, pushing in and turning. Once you've got it so that the note that you're aiming for is displayed on the screen, you can stop. Even if it's a little flat or a little sharp, at that point, I'd turn the cello around and I would use the fine tuners again. There are a few things that you need to be aware of if you're tuning with the pegs. The first thing is that as you tune with the pegs, the bridge will move. And the more out of tune it is, the more the bridge is going to move as you tune. And this is because the strings grab hold of the top of the bridge, and as you tune them, pulling them closer to the pegs, the bridge is going to move in the direction of the pegs. You've got to be really careful that as you tune, you stop, straighten the bridge, put it back into the correct position, and then continue to retune. Otherwise, the bridge may fall down. The second thing that you need to be aware of is that the tension of one string affects the tension of all the other strings, and therefore the tuning of the other strings. So it's quite common that, especially if your cello is really out of tune, you'll finish tuning the 4th string, and by the time you've done that and go back to the 1st string, you'll find that that 1st string is out of tune. You may then need to redo that process of tuning all 4 of them once or twice until it's stable and back in tune. Thanks so much for watching this video on how to tune your cello for beginners. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to us via our website at violins.com.au or simply comment below the video. For more great videos, like us on Facebook and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.